This movie surprised the hell out of me. I cannot believe they put this much care into Puss in Boots 2. Before I saw it, I heard good buzz, but I had to see it to believe it. I actually haven't seen the first Puss in Boots. I heard it was good, but had the same simple animation style of the Shrek films. However, The Last Wish is a totally different story. This easily has the best animation of any of the Shrek films, and probably the best that I've seen from DreamWorks in general. The animation is gorgeous because it allows itself to bring in influences from other places, and I love how it seamlessly switches between those styles depending on the sequence. Obviously, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the first film that comes to mind. It's clear that that film, being so recent and so loved and successful, has cast an effect over the genre. But it isn't just Spider-Verse. The Last Wish clearly took a lot of cues from anime, which is a big plus for me. The jankier, low frame rate of the characters' movements, the whole opening sequence was reminiscent of Attack on Titan, and they also put a lot of thought into the fight choreography throughout this film. One sequence that really stood out to me was when Puss in Boots fights the main antagonist in a bar, a kind of big bad wolf style character. He had a really simple design, but I loved him. I think he is just the right amount of scary where kids will be thrilled, but be able to sleep. The cast is great, Salma Hayek, Florence Pugh, but I really think Antonio Banderas brought his A game here. This is easily his best performance as the character this time around. And what is so great about this film, at its core, is the realization of the character. Puss in Boots is a cat, so he has 9 lives, but due to gloated and reckless ways of living, he has died 8 times and is now on his last life. He must reevaluate his choices and choose to become the man he needs to be. And they really go deep with this storyline. It has a great message for kids. The writers made a great choice early on in the film to part him from his sword for majority of the runtime. They also show Puss in Boots struggle with panic attacks and regrets over his past choices. There is a great sequence in the film where he is forced to come face to face with his prior 8 lives, which was really quite profound. And the sequence where we found out how he lost those lives is really funny too. I'm just so glad that the team behind this film cared so much. This is easily the best film in the Far, Far Away series since 2004's Shrek 2. I'm actually quite the defender of Shrek the Third, and even Shrek Forever After. The triumph of this film has actually made me want a Shrek 5. And of course, since it's come out, they have announced it, with Cameron Diaz, Mike Myers, and Eddie Murphy returning. The success of this film is important because a large majority of films that Hollywood produce for children are terrible simply because the demographic is children. They are intentionally low effort, you know the ones. They make no attempt at crafting something worthwhile. Bad or basic animation, lifeless characters, trite storylines, awful toilet humor. The parents should be able to enjoy the film as well, and the kids deserve to remember it. They disrespect kids' intelligence when they make those films. Puss in Boots 2 does not. It respects its audience. Just because you make a film for kids doesn't mean that you are exempt from creating something with artistic value. You can't just create disposable rubbish because it will make money. I mean, really, if you want a return on your investment, a high-quality film will always make more money in the end because it will live on. It will be remembered. It will become iconic because it is good. Merchandising like toys, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, streaming. People have returned to Shrek for 20 years because it is good. They recently re-released Shrek 2 in cinemas. You can't do that with a film that got bad reviews. It has well-written characters and smart humor. A good test for children's films is if adults can relate to the characters too, laugh at the jokes, and appreciate the sentiment of the story. If they can't, then it mustn't be very deep. Children are not idiots. They deserve respect from their art and entertainment. They can learn things. It can actually make them smarter to see a smart film. They deserve to learn something. They yearn to learn something. They deserve to have profound and inspiring experiences that help to guide them when maybe there's nothing else that will. Kids will definitely love Puss in Boots: The Last Wish if they watch it, and so will parents, simply because it is damn good, and it respects its audience intelligence. It's pretty simple. I highly recommend this film, no matter what age you are, and you don't have to have watched the first Puss in Boots apparently, because I didn't. I probably should get around to that. This film came out like 2 years ago.